What's going on, guys? It's Cody Edwards speaking. Today on the Plus Guys podcast, I have a special guest, Femmy, the one, the only, Bemani Lounge owner. You know what I'm saying? Akene. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's the first time we having a video podcast. You know what I'm saying? You get to see me. You can see my guests. You know what I'm saying? Well dressed, well seasoned. Today's episode is gonna be a little special. We're gonna talk about Yu-Gi-Oh, but mostly the business aspect of it. You know, if you're a player or a collector who wants to make money in this game, there is a second market, and in the second market you can make a lot of money. You know, Femmy's definitely the proof of it. You know, Femmy, for the people who don't know you,
yes sir.
Tell us about yourself.
I mean, I buy cards now. I guess I try to get Skrilla. Nah. You know, that's not too different to most people. You know, a lot of people that play a game of Yu-Gi-Oh, you know, they're usually from the hood, lower income, mid-class, you know, people.
Very diverse community.
Yeah, extremely diverse community. You guys watching the podcast, you guys know. Yeah, I came up just like, you know, a lot of people live by the city-county border, back and forth between the burbs and the hood. You know, so I got to see both sides of the perspective of, you know, how people live, you know, people struggle, stuff like that. You know, I got into Yu-Gi-Oh from my little brothers. Got tired of them hitting me up, oh, let's play some Yu-Gi-Oh! You play for cards, I play for cards. So I took some of them cards and I beat them with them, beat them for all their cards. I took them and I got tired of that. So I went to all their buddies and I started beating them for all their cards. I took them and met some hood guys, you know, sitting in some Timbs, some white beaters, you know, got the chains on, and I'm thinking they playing some dice or something, you know, on the stoop. They playing Yu-Gi-Oh.
Damn.
So, you know, 15-year-old, you're just like, yo, why you playing Yu-Gi-Oh? Like, it is just, you know what I mean, the two don't match up. So, you know, they the first one, they put me on game. They said, hey, you know, you can make some real money out of this. By hook or by crook, you know, you can make some real dollars. He told me my first locals, he told me where to go. You know, and I started it took me like 3 months, the first 3 months to level up a real deck and learn the basics of the game.
What format was this?
This was back right before, I want to say Pharaonic Guardian. Was that the one that had Jinzo and all the zombie stuff? That was right before then, like the Exodia set was out. Like that was in a glass showcase for like $200, the whole Exodia set. So like everything was still in its infancy when I started playing. That's why I was like, I've been playing since the very beginning. Yu-Gi-Oh was in diapers. I've been playing in some way, shape, or form. I've been in the game. But yeah, outside of that, you know, I always play on and off. When the recession hit like a decade ago, Yu-Gi-Oh was in my back pocket, so I used that to live off of. That was my first experience using it as an actual source of income.
Were you a competitive player or a vendor, or what were you doing?
At that point, I was really just getting into competitive play. Before then, I was in a local scene, but I wasn't good enough. Like, I could top once in a while, but it wasn't anything consistent. You know, until maybe 06. Like, I think it's right after IOC came out, right after the first ban list and stuff. That's when I started really getting to that level where I can win consistently, learn the rules to the next level. And then from then until that recession hit, right around that Teledad format, right before that came out, that's when I took that next level.
How was that a really expensive format?
But man, that was the get money format.
Like I heard, like you was easily spending like $1,000
Easy
to play.
You had Gladiator Beast.
Like you want to win, try to compete with a real deck. You know, you gotta spend that $1,000.
Gladiator Beast. You got Teledad. You had Lightsworn. If you didn't have one of those decks, especially after that Nats, when GBs finally arrived, everybody thought it was Teledad or Lightsworn. Nobody gambled really on GB too much. That was the dark horse. And GB's one. After then, you had to have one of the three. If you don't got one of those three, you ain't living. And ironically enough, that's when I was at I think I told you the story once before a long time ago. Shonen Jump I was at that Shonen Jump, you know, it's the Nats. I was at the Nats when they won. I went that weekend and I started flipping, you know, Lightsworn and Taladad. So I went in there with, you know, a couple of decks, started flipping them for profit. And on the tail end of that Friday, everybody's like, oh, I got GB. And I was trying to throw ins on the leftovers and stuff. So I was like, I was getting cash, had a few GB decks on the side, went and played, scrubbed out. I was good, but, you know, I'm never that good because I focus on making money because that's what I was talking in the streets. Like, yo, you can make money. End of that weekend, GB's won. Everybody's shocked the world. Oh, same niggas came back. Sorry, pardon the language. Same people came back. Like, yo,
still got that GBs?
Still got that GBs? 3 times the price. 3 times the price. Like,
flip.
Easy.
Flip.
So I made the profit off the flip from all the other stuff. Then I turned around, flipped that back. Some of the people turned around, gave me the other decks too, with more cash just to get back to. That was a great weekend. But you know, after that, you know, I learned the power of judging. Because that was before Konami really came in with the whole issue of Upper Deck. So I got in on the tail end of working with Upper Deck probably like the last year and a half.
So what year was it when Konami started cracking down on backpack vendors? Like, when did that start being a thing for, like, you know, premier events and stuff? Was that always a thing, or?
Nah. I think I want to say it was that 2013, 2014 Konami started doing that.
Is there like a particular reason why they started doing that, or?
There's always stuff in the air, man. You know, unfortunately, there's no way to efficiently lock down and protect your belongings besides having a proper team around you to make sure your stuff is secure.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of that. Like I said, that was my first experience with, you know, people that do it for money, and that's one of the things explained. Like, hey, you can steal these book bags and you can make a lot of money, and they got Timbs and they got good clothes and they rocking a good car. So, you know, I've had lots of experiences with those same types of individuals all throughout Yu-Gi-Oh. Everybody who plays Yu-Gi-Oh, not even on the high level, even at the locals level, you guys know this, the people out there that do that. But you know, thankfully Konami decided to try to implement steps to help. Doesn't help enough, nowhere near enough, but you know, it's a good thing that they try. It, you know, shows they care to an extent. But you know, they around that time they really started. I think it's like 2012. They really started changing stuff up. Julia Hedgeberg, the head of the whole head judges for North America. I think that's her. Can't remember the exact title. She really came into power. She changed the structure up, made it more fruitful to want to be a judge. Because before they were getting paltry support to come in there, because that's really your main support. Besides the security guards at the venues, you have the judges. What they see, you know, how they rule, and you know, evicting a player, you know, a suspected thief from an event. That's really mainly a player's protection besides the people they have around them. So her coming in and changing a lot of things, yeah, it made it a thing to, you know, want to be a judge and be able to get paid from being a judge, but then it also helped beef security and you know, help out in that regards. So, you know, that's even another way to make money out of Yu-Gi-Oh, especially today, because they actually pay per hour now. Before they used to pay per packs. Like pay by, you know, you get paid boxes or just flat
like a certain
packs.
amount of boxes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Depending on what level. If you're a starter, you don't get as much. As you get seasoned, you get more. You know, then if you have one of the top spots, head floor judge, you know, assistant judge, head judge, you get even more. Even at the regional level. They still do that now, but nowadays it's more like that you get paid per hour. Somebody had to mess up in order for that to be a thing.
You know, recently I was a part of a group chat. They wanted to start a circuit for teams. And one of the issues I noticed in that chat was as far as agreeing on who's going to head judge. You know what I'm saying? Who's gonna be judging team? You know, because a couple of the, you know, team captains or team owners, or we're gonna call them, you know, a couple of their players had issues with certain individuals being judges. Because the thing about competitive play, when particular players who feel like they're well known, you know what I'm saying, they have some status to their name, if a particular ruling doesn't go in their favor, there's always some type of drama attached to it, right? It's not just, okay, he did a bad ruling or he made a ruling I didn't agree with, you know? Now it's he's targeting me, you know? So I do think that the scene definitely needs more judges, especially qualified judges, you know? And I do hope that people are more incentivized to want to take the application and learn how to become one, be a good one. Because a lot of the events you go to, it's the same recycled band of players or people that are judging every YCS, you know, in each individual, you know, country and stuff.
Mm-hmm. I mean, and I can attest, and I can, you know, to that, you know, the Konami program, you know, they try very hard to, you know, keep cycling and getting new judges, and to season up and experience those judges, you know, and you know, get them experience. They need to be credible because, you know, and at that level, because I know you guys play at, you know, high levels, you know, of competitive play, you have to have a judge that's credible.
Yeah.
That judge has to be respected. They have to know what they're doing. You know, and they try to do a very good job of getting new judges into that system and then also leveling them up. The difficulty comes in being able to get all the experience needed because you got to go to a lot of different events to get that seasoning. So back when I started, you know, 'cause I carried over into the Konami program from the Upper Deck program, you know, me and it was a crew of us. Shout out to Dan Smith and Garen LaFon. You know, we got kind of like a trumpet of us, and the three of us would just go up and down the East Coast, and we go hit up a lot of regionals, a lot of YCSs over towards the West, you know, to go gain that experience. So for me, from going from someone who was just a player at a pretty good level to level up to judge level probably took me about 8 months of regularly hitting the regional and YCS scene, like just grinding. Like you just go, like that's a whole day, that's a whole weekend. Like a lot of the players, you guys know from the player standpoint, but it's actually a lot more stressful and chaotic for a judge because you got to be there a lot of times before the event starts. Then during the event, you guys get to sit in chairs. The judges, they don't, except for when they go on their break. That one usually is like one break per day. They're standing up 12 to 14 hours a day, 2 to 3 days during that weekend if it's a YCS. You know, and then they're dealing with all the questions and issues that the players have, where players don't have to deal with judge issues. So it's a whole different type of stress and frustration, but it's also extremely rewarding. Like I said, if you get that seasoning, and you're part of a crew, you know, that has good players, well, one hand washes the other, you know. So they're able to keep those players sharp. So those players now their win ratio is going to increase because they have up-to-date knowledge on rulings and, you know, tips on how to play. So that just makes their whole squad better.
I think right now, being a competitive player, it's harder than ever. Only because of the fact that you're so restricted, you know. If you've been playing real life tournaments, you know, a lot of card shops aren't open. The ones that are open, they're not giving you OTS packs anymore because Konami's not supporting that, you know, unless you're doing like extravagances or remote duels for like, you know, official OTS events and stuff. So if you go in your card shop, you're not getting OTS packs more than likely, right? The most recent sets that we've been getting, they're not really hitting, you know what I'm saying? Because a competitive player, you basically get paid for the packs that you earn for winning or topping your tournaments, your local tournaments, right? And if the sets aren't good, you're not gonna make that much money, right? And on top of that, if you do travel out of state, or if you do travel to a big event in your state in the pandemic, it's not gonna be that big, right? So the amount of money you're gonna earn isn't that crazy, right? So you either go and do the Yu-Gi-Oh extravaganzas and win like a $300 mat and try to flip that. And you can imagine how hard that might be, you know, to get the number you want, right? Because you probably find someone buy for you for 200, but if you want to get that 350, you gotta work for it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And or you could do those online circuit tournaments like what you're doing right now with the Bemani Lounge. You know, you could hop on EDO Pro, you know, sign up win a prize card, try to flip the prize card however you can, or you can try to hop into a cash tournament or some other platform, right?
Mm-hmm.
So being a competitive player right now isn't as rewarding as it once was, because we got so many events, so many opportunities, sky's the limit, So right now you gotta get really creative if you're a competitive player, and I do think the argument on whether who makes more money, the competitive player or the backpack vendor, definitely the backpack vendor. Like, I can't dispute it no more.
In my opinion, I think they're kind of like one of the same now. Like it used to be kind of a very clear difference.
Yeah.
But now it's
well, they're both doing it. Like I got what you're saying.
Used a bit more than
ever.
There's still differences. Like before I got my store, the whole last year, I spent the summer going, with one of my best boys, one of my best guys, driving 2 to 5 days a week going to locals. We were usually there early when we can get there early, and I'm vending.
Yep.
So I might spend anywhere from 30 minutes to 2 hours vending.
Mm-hmm.
But then because I can still play at a high level, I'll play that event, and I'll probably have anywhere between 50 to 85% top ratio. So now I'm gonna even if I don't do well as a vendor at that particular event, I still put myself in position to top, which gives me statistically the best chance to go ahead and pull the best cards out of that set.
Exactly.
And then so I still pocket my money.
Yep.
So when I'm able to beat the odds and win statistically, plus I'm doing my numbers as a vendor, that's a great day. And then on the weekend you probably go hit up a second one, 2 to 3.
It's a part-time job, if you're a competitive player, you could definitely hit part-time job numbers per week. You're making around $200 to $300. Depending on how hard you could go, you could probably make $600. But as a backpack vendor, I think the money is just more consistent and low effort.
Absolutely. I appreciate you got to know basic business though, because even as a player, you should do both sides. You should look at yourself as a business.
Mm-hmm.
In this society, civilians are at the bottom of the totem pole.
Mm-hmm.
There's more advantages out there as a business, and a lot of the young cats that play the game, and even some of the older ones, they don't understand that when you buy and sell cards, and when you barter and trade cards, that's commerce. That's a business transaction. So if you do a little bit of schooling on how to operate like a business, you can reap all the rewards from a business and put yourself in a much better position very quickly. Like you'll exponentially increase. Like the first thing I did, when I really started taking it seriously, about 4 years ago, was I already had, I got my Square account. I already had it before, but for whatever reason, I didn't get the scanner. So I actually hit them up and got another free scanner. And then I started taking that with me to locals. And I don't see, even to this day, I don't really see anybody that does that. So before, it's only cash transactions. But I started taking them, and you see me. I go to colleges, I go to wherever famous. I go to college. I make so much money in colleges. But I take them there. When they don't have cash, I'm like, no. We accept all forms of payment. I'll be like, I take credit, I take debit, I take Venmo, I take Cash App. I take PayPal, I take all. Like, there's no reason why you can't.
If you're a vendor, you gotta have all platforms: PayPal, Venmo, Cash App, Zelle, Apple Pay. You gotta have it all.
So I can confidently say, except for maybe Pete, big PC over there. Maybe him. Outside of him, I'm probably the only person in Jersey when I moved to Jersey that was moving like that. So then my numbers increase because you're able to do more transactions when you're able to facilitate your customer, how your customer is willing to pay. The more ways to pay means more chances that they're going to spend the dollars with you, and you're going to increase, your revenue stream.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's just your pockets are going to get more full that much faster. You flip it faster, so you get your cash flow up.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the same mechanisms that any business use. Like it's 101 for business. But if you're a backpack vendor, even if you're a competitive player and you can top at a high clip, and you take those, whatever your winnings are, and you put them on TCG Player or eBay, Troll and Toad, any of those platforms, like you're already a business. Like you just, so therefore, in order to actually be able to get the gains you need to make it sizable where you can eat off of, like really eat, you need to start operating and thinking more like a business. And if you don't know how to, YouTube, Google, the best sources. Your shop owners, if they like you, they will parse knowledge to you. You should always be seeking the knowledge to go better yourself. So you won't, my thing, I always walk into a room and I never assume I'm the smartest person in the room until that person proves themselves to be not smart. And it allows you to come in on the humble and be able to learn from people, and people be receptive to listening to you, because you're never coming in with, like a steam of hot air. So they're not going to take offense. They will listen to you. They will want to teach you what they know. Those are, just from my experiences, and I do that all day. I do that in my sleep. But yeah, you can make money out this game. We know people that have done it, that make it at the point to be like, I turned and flipped it into a legitimate business, which now I'm about to start spawning out other businesses.
Hold on. So, what are the levels you think are for this lane that we're in, right? For as far as the card game goes, like what's level 1, 2, and 3, and 4? Would you say? Because in my brain, I think level 1 would be like the backpack vendor, right? And then level 2 would be somebody who's like the big guy that has accesses to different people. So he has accesses to multiple backpack vendors, and he takes their stuff and he pushes it out like worldwide, or at least countrywide, right? And above that would be like the store owner, and above that would be the distributor, right? So like, how do you outline it as far as the levels?
I mean, if I were to look at it, I'd probably say at level 1, you just have the novice, the person that just gets in the game, because they don't know what they want to do. Like their thing is to just get as much knowledge about the game as possible. And then as they get acclimated to the game, they figure out what really wets their whistle. Some of them, they like judging more. They like they realize they're not really the playing type, but they have a brain to take in those facts and take that knowledge and be able to distribute that out. Or they decide they want to be the player, and they excel at being able to take that information and being able to utilize it in whatever situation. Or there's the vendor route. So you decide at level 2 which one of those 3 do you want to be. Then at level 3, the judge, they're going to go and become an official judge. At that level, then the player is going to go from being just a standard level player to somebody that is a competitive player. Maybe they'll begin to get hot on the regional scene, that type of level. Then the vendor, the person that wants to do backpacking, that's when he's really hitting it as a backpack vendor. Probably going to multiple shops, making probably upwards to about 500 to 1,000 a month. That's when I get that part-time pay in their pocket. And then from there, the next level, you have the judge, who's able to judge now at like a YCS level, NAPS level. You have the player who's able to play at a YCS level, make day 2 on YCSs, threats the top here and there. And then you have the backpack vendor who elevates to being a store owner potentially. Or they accelerate to being, like you said, maybe a distributor, because they are able to get a deal with a proper distributor, become a second tier distributor, and push out goods to other people. Maybe they'll
lower the prices.
And then you go up from there. So the other 2 kind of fizzle out, but the vendor path, you can keep going past that.
Yeah.
Because out of the 3 paths, the one that's most, crafted towards business is the vendor path. So from there, like you can get a storefront. When you get a business, then you realize, the Yu-Gi-Oh cards are just product. They're a product, just like any other business. So from there, it's whatever, what are your hobbies? What do you want to do? What, Yu-Gi-Oh is a hobby, but what are your other interests? What other skills do you have that can make you money? Because at that point, you're really on a platform, and it's just maximizing the skills you have to get the most return for your money. So, in any business, when you register, you set up your business, no matter what you set it up for. Like I set it up originally to be an online retail store. But when you get into business, after you register it, whatever you want to do afterwards, it's under the preview of that. It doesn't matter. So you can, I don't know, you can name anything, whatever it is you want to create your business doing, you can just add that as part of your business. You can even stop doing the initial thing you set up your business to do. So for me, that's the best of the three because it's a gateway into business in general and getting bigger, slices of revenue, expanding into multiple revenue streams, creating real wealth, that's long term and sustainable. The other two, they have, a hard cap. This one, like I said, it doesn't. It transfers into something else bigger.
Well, do you think the next level for competitive player would be like a team owner? Because I noticed a lot of owners were once competitive players.
I mean, yeah, you could become a team owner. If you want to say that, you could do team owner.
Because crews, I think crews are it's a thing. It's been around for a long time. Still gonna keep going. Even to this day, I still see people starting their own new little crew. Yu-Gi-Oh players and stuff, competitive wise.
But even that, unless you combine it with something, because if you put a crew together, but you don't really have a game plan, what's the purpose, right?
Well, consciously, they asked us the question: is this gonna be like a casual thing? Me and my friends getting together, playing you together, go to locals together, have to travel together, or is this gonna be lucrative, right? Am I gonna have a team of people who individually are, high caliber? You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to build a super team, right? I want to build a brand around this super team, right? I want to push a product, some merch, cards, whatever. Make money off of this, So I feel like that could be the next level for a competitive player, especially if they don't want to go the vendor route, or if they are going to go that route, they want to go completely hard into it, but they want to stay in the competitive scene still.
I mean, at the end of the day, they still got to go the vendor route. They need cards to play.
They do need cards to play.
So when they win their cards, they got to sell their cards.
But they can get sponsorships and stuff like that.
They can, but why wait for somebody when you can do for yourself, right?
That's true.
I mean, I know you got experience. You know what it feels like now, right?
I mean, honestly though, I feel like the competitive scene isn't quite figured out yet. It's a mold that hasn't been broken yet, right? And until someone does it flawlessly and everyone just copies that system and everyone just follows that lane, we're going to continuously have new teams pop up out of the blue, new crews rising up, you know what I'm saying? Because, before the pandemic, there was a lot of names, the pandemic hit, a lot of those names disappeared, I'm not sure if they're trying to wait out the storm, or, they just, the people in it not interested no more, or they just hop to a new crew or whatever. But, this pandemic really showed me a lot.
If I can have a pedestal for a moment, I'm just a regular guy that sits behind the counter, Everybody told me I can't play no more. I'm a guy that sits behind the counter. You saw my post on Facebook. I got hit with that again the other week. Yeah. For my advice, for what it's worth, I never advocate to be the best player. I've never been the best player. I'm not the best vendor. Nowhere near the best vendor.
Yeah.
No, I'll even say never.
Oh,
I don't strive to be the best at any one thing. I strive to be extremely good at everything. I bring somebody in who's the best. Let them do their thing.
Okay, I respect that.
But if I can give my, I guess, opinion on an issue with the game in itself, is that everybody is in for themselves and only themselves. So my opinion of a lot of players, nobody in particular, not thinking of any one person, but a lot of them come off as, closed-minded
Selfish.
No, I won't say selfish. There's always a little bit of all those things, but overall, I'll say the mindset is more closed-minded.
Okay.
They have their little crew, and they learn from that little mold, and they stay on that mold. So when they're challenged by somebody or a group of people that have opposing ideas, they're just stuck in that idea. This is how we have to do this thing. This is what we're doing, and that's it. And that never works, especially, you know, when you're out there trying to make that paper.
Mm-hmm.
If you're out there trying to make that paper, you should look at a business. Every business's chief operating objective is to make more money.
Mm-hmm.
They're the masters of making money. So once again, it makes sense to move in that manner. Businesses broker deals. They interact with each other. If you're not interacting with other people, especially ones that are, I would say different, you're not going to maximize what you're able to do when you play Yu-Gi-Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter what level you're at, you can always get more.
Yeah.
And if you're able to partner with people and interact with other people that have different ideas, that have different styles, you're not going to get the most out of your experience. You're limiting yourself. You're handcuffing yourself.
You definitely have to be consciously aware of the system you're walking into when you join a competitive team, or when you're building a competitive team as well, because that matters, right? If you personally are more on the innovative side, the creative side, and you get put in a system where everybody's just copying, copying what that guy's doing, following the combo sheet of this person, like, you're not going to be happy, you're not going to be satisfied, and then you're not going to succeed at all, So that's one thing I've noticed, is disgruntled players. That's a big thing. I do think that when you're building a team or organization, you gotta be really aware of who you put on it.
Absolutely.
Just because he didn't work for me doesn't mean there's anything wrong with him or there's anything wrong with me. It was just we weren't the perfect fit.
Absolutely.
I had guys who were on Plus Guys, and it didn't work out for nothing like crazy or nothing. It just wasn't a good fit. And this guy went over here and he's doing his thing. This guy went over here and he's doing his thing. You know what I'm saying? It's still all love, It's just, you gotta know when you're building a system what works and what doesn't work.
Yep. Especially if you're at the top of the system, that is actually your job.
Yep. Because if you fail at it, it's all gonna crumble, and it's all gonna come down to you when it comes to pointing the fingers. Why this didn't work? You know what I'm saying?
A lot of headaches, a lot of phone calls.
Oh yeah.
A lot of distrust.
And that's the thing too, like as a business owner, right, or a team owner, your job primarily is to make money.
Absolutely.
Your player's job is to win.
Which all cycles into helping you make money.
Exactly. It's supposed to be hand in hand. When it stops being hand in hand, that's when it falls apart. Now that you have this store, how do you feel about, the Yu-Gi-Oh scene and the second market?
I've been fortunate, to I'll say something too. If anybody happens to watch this, and I know there's a lot of people that have interest in wanting to start their own store and wanting to do something different, like along the lines of that. Most store owners, they'll tell you if you talk to them on the side, you can't just run a store based on card games. It's very difficult to do. It's not impossible, it's very difficult. Which is why most of the stores you go to, they fuse it with something else that supplement the income they need to order to pay their bills and to hit profitability. So I was fortunate enough to come into a situation where the person who had the store prior to me taking over and putting my own business in did video games. So for a small snippet of time, for about a month or two, I got to learn video games and how profitable video games are. So I have, I believe for me it's the perfect supplement to running card games, So it's to the point now where card games is probably in the ballpark about, in any given month, between 15 to 25% of my income. Video games and other items take up the majority of it now. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm still rocking with what got me to the table, but you know, it's not the biggest part anymore because I used it to leapfrog into something that does more. Now, for people that are interested in getting up here, you know, once again, I stress it's business, and you should look at business first and foremost because it's that important. So you know what to do when you get to the level. Because a lot of people, they'll get a lot of money, and you see it in society, and they don't know what to do with it. So they'll spend it on a bunch of stuff that doesn't make any sense instead of being disciplined with your finances so you can continue to build it up to make more. Even before you get to that level, like you see with a lot of players, they get all these cars, and what they do automatically after they win their regional and stuff, they go sell it. And then you'll see them turn around and just go buy and waste a lot. So they don't have that money a week later.
Steak dinners.
Just gone. And
drinks.
And then like 2-3 months later, when the next season roll around, let me get them cars. And I get the cars, got that cars, and they're trying to recoup that. There's never any need for that if you do it right.
It's funny you bring that up because there's one thing I want to talk about. So, if you're a person who wants to be a competitive player or professional player, right, however you want to call it, right, and you want to be sponsored, right, you want a hotel, you want a paid flight, you know what I'm saying, you want your entry fee to be paid for, you know, you want someone to supply you with cards for your deck and stuff, you gotta understand, the more you're taking, the more you have to give.
Absolutely.
The more you take, the more you have to give. So all this sounds good, right? You know, free deck, free flight, free hotel, pay for my $20 entry for the tournament, whatever, you know? Sounds great. But then when they ask for your prizing, when they ask for 50% of your cut if you win a cash tournament, right? ARGs, PPGs, whatever, right? You know, the sponsorship doesn't look as good anymore. When you start counting, like you know what I'm saying, at this point, they're just facilitating a lifestyle.
Yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh players, especially, but card game, you know, enthusiasts in general, they expect a free lunch.
Yeah.
Nothing in this world is free.
Nothing.
Absolutely nothing. Even if something says free, there's usually a hidden cost that you don't see, or it's a cost that's attached to it on the back end. Yu-Gi-Oh players in general, you know, maybe probably not people watching this, you know, but in general, should stop thinking in terms of what they can get for free. Like I said, just work the system. Figure out what you want, where you want to go. Figure out how you can monetize it to get you there. You know, me, I'd rather bring in somebody who has skills to get to where they need to get to, and want to bring that person in. Like, you know, we have, you know, I have the Bemani Lounge team, and unfortunately, we set it up right as the pandemic's getting set, so we couldn't even go out to do anything right now. But you know, my guys, they're enthused, they're ready, you know, and you know, there's things that they do, and they understand that there's no free lunch.
Nope.
You know, there's a system to everything. What I'm going to have to pony up and give them, you know, their work is what, you know, what pays for it. So that sponsorship, they have to do their end. So if their end of the bargain, you know, their side of the bargain is to, you know, advertise for this team, be an ambassador for this team, and not just a team, but for whatever business is sponsoring you. So you know, you're basically a salesman for that team.
Yep.
Even while you sit there and you play at these events, you're
brand ambassadors.
You're a brand ambassador. You know,
YouTube, Twitch,
that's
Twitter,
the name of the game. So
Instagram, Facebook.
So if you're a good one, you know, a small percentage of the people you interact with should trickle themselves back down to that business or that brand that's sponsoring you. If they don't, it's a bad deal for the person sponsoring you, and you probably won't stay sponsored very long.
No.
Being
good at the game is good. Very important.
Yes.
More important is your personality.
100%.
Likability. If you're not likable, you will not last long.
Not at all.
You might, you know, go to events, win them, top them, be known for that, right? But if you want to be attached to a bigger brand, right, your likeness matters. So, I notice a lot of people, when they start to get good at the game, get a little ego, you know, start, you know what I'm saying, feeling themselves, start barking. You know, mind you, I like the bark. I like the swag to attach to it, you know what I'm saying? You know, I'm not going to say I'm not a shit talker. I love the trash talk.
Champion.
You know what I'm saying? Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Best in Jersey. That was my old motto. That was my old motto. You know what I'm saying? I had to throw it out the window. You know what I'm saying? Once I educated myself and the people in Jersey, I was like, damn, there's a lot of good players here. You know, but you gotta be consciously aware that your likeness matters, and it can affect and impact the brand you attach yourself to. And they'll, as any business owner would tell you, they will cut you in a heartbeat if you start affecting the cash flow.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So
That's every business's chief operating drive is to make bank. If you cannot make a business bank, you know, they're going to gut you, because if they stop making money, they are no longer a business. If my storefront doesn't make any money, first thing I'm doing is gutting my employees. And I tell them that because I'm very honest. I tell them straight up, you know, your job is to be productive to the bottom line.
Mm-hmm.
So you make me money, so now I can make you money.
Mm-hmm.
So at the end of the day, it's like we're making money. So you got to do your job and hold your end of the bargain like I got to do mine. You got to process the work I need to get processed, and I got to find you the work that gets to get done.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I got to handle the money, and I got to do this, that, and the third. That's my end of the bargain. You know, the same thing is true when you're being sponsored. You know, that's like a job. It's not, you know, it's more like a independent contractor.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But once again, even with that, you should be a business. You should think like a business person.
Yep.
It is a business. You know, it's a transaction going on. It may not always be money, but it's a transaction. You're getting something for what you're putting into it.
If you can get a contract, make sure everything that's on that contract you agree with.
Just like any other business.
And sign that contract. You know what I'm saying? Keep a copy. What do you think about you know, the gatekeepers? Do you think there's still gatekeepers in the Yu-Gi-Oh community?
I think we were talking about that a little earlier. There's always gatekeepers. There's always going to be gatekeepers. To a minor degree, you know, at a time I was a gatekeeper.
Mm.
You know, yeah, I've had conversations with a lot of people behind the scenes about stuff like that. Absolutely. You know, those guys, you know, from a player standpoint, may not be the best players, but what they say has a lot of influence with a lot of the key players.
Mm-hmm.
You know, same thing when it comes to vending. There are certain gatekeepers. There's people that they got all the juice. You know, there are those at the top of the totem pole, but there's those that actually have the power.
Mm-hmm.
You know, those gatekeepers are the ones that have power.
Buyouts. That's some gatekeeping shit right there.
Yeah, if you want to talk on that tip, like for the vendor standpoint,
you try to get a set, that's bought out.
That's something too. If you're already a street vendor, you're out there and you know about doing buyouts and stuff, like there's groups out there, you know, that you can plug into. You gotta find them.
Yep.
I'm not gonna give you that information. They out there. You gotta find them, and that's what they talk about all day, every day. They talk about what are we gonna buy out next. What is it going to cost to buy out? How much to put together the buyout? You know, a while back I was going to start a buyout team. I probably will at some point, but you know, I'm still you know I'm trying to move 5 million steps ahead, so I might end up leaving scraps out for somebody else and kick them game on that. But you know, there's groups out there. You know, there's people. You gotta search those people out, and you know, get in those groups, and you know, at that point again, it's still business. At that point, you're an investor. So you're going to take your money and invest it in the market of Yu-Gi-Oh! Not too dissimilar from the stock market. Every industry has a secondary market, or they have a primary market, and you can invest in those things no different than investing in a stock market. And there's ups and downs in all those markets, just like you see with Yu-Gi-Oh! Those buyouts, you know, they're not by accident.
No, you're not.
Just like with the stock market, a lot of those, pretty much all those buyouts, they're not by accident.
No.
You know, there's people behind the scenes that.
It's way more volatile than the actual stock market, because like in the actual stock market, they can just shut it down. If it's just, you know, like, they can just shut it down.
True.
You go into G player or card market, you see something you don't like, it's well, you know, that's it. You know, find somebody with other card numbers and buy from them. That's your best bet. Especially if they start doing buyouts. Because I remember, when the ban list just dropped, Dogma cards were shooting up.
Mm-hmm.
Goons were shooting up. You know, any good card of the format was just. Then you had cards that were like, potentially could do some things, right? They start shooting up. You know, and it's like, hey, that's why me personally speaking, I like to buy at the end of a format. Because at the end of the format, card value drops. Because everyone's just scared of ban lists and stuff, right? They just want to move their stuff. So if you're like a casual player or a collector or somebody who's trying to get started up, your best bet is avoiding at the start of the format because everything shoots up, right? So unless you become on a game plan and know, okay, this deck is gonna be super good in this format and nobody knows, so I'm gonna start buying these cards out and stuff like that. Unless you have a game plan like that, beginning of the format, I think you should be pretty hesitant on grabbing stuff. See how the market moves, see it level out, and then once you see how it's looking and you think it's gonna stabilize, then start doing your pickups and then start flipping. You know.
Can I put them on some game real quick?
Sure,
you know,
sure.
You know, I put you on the game a long time ago. You making your bread out there, you know. That what he says, yeah, I believe is, you know, that's the correct way to do it. What I started doing, I just buy anytime. It don't matter, you know, if it's beginning of the format, end of the format.
Big money.
I buy, but it's what you buy and how much you buy. So most people, they're wanting to go after the most expensive cards and stuff like that. Why? Because they move quick, which is really good. But any investor worth their salt, they want consistency. So even if they don't get as high returns, you know, they got to wait a little longer to get those returns. You know, the guys on the stock market, they'll wait for those returns. So I don't usually look too much for the expensive stuff. I look for mid-range, and I look for the bottom-end bulk cards, that sludge stuff. And that's where I sit in. I used to make my living squarely on that. So it doesn't matter what time period it's in, if it's beginning, if it's the end, you get it at the bottom of its appreciation curve. So, you know, now you're talking economics a little bit. So you guys know, like with cars, you get a car off the lot, you know, it's like $30,000, a nice whip. When soon you take it off the lot, it's not worth as much. Every subsequent year, the next year, it's worth maybe like 20% less, and then it goes down and down. Yeah, it depreciates till it hits the bottom of its depreciation, and it sits there for a while, you know, and then after X amount of time, it'll slowly begin to appreciate again, and then a little bit over more.
Turns to vintage.
Yeah, so, you know, and this is any type of investment. So this is like 101 investment. So what you want to try to do is hit items at the bottom of their appreciation curve. So you snag something on the bottom of this appreciation curve, the only thing that can happen is going to go up. And most of those things, since they're at the bottom, they cost the least amount of money. So you could take $100 and, you know, buy a lightning storm. You know, what's it right now? Like 120, 130, I don't know. It's been a while.
It's been around. It's around that ballpark. No, it's like 90, yeah. 90, 100. Lightning Storm's not expensive as it used to be.
Whatever card is like around 220 or whatever.
That'd be like the Deer Servant.
130, yeah.
Deer Servant.
You get that, you know, $120, $30 card you might buy for $100. Think you're gonna get a nice little $20 flip, you'll get that immediately. Or you could take that $100 and you can buy thousands of dollars worth of bulk of things that are low end, you know, couple cents here, couple cents there, dollar here, $2, $3, and you can, you know, can sit on them and you can, you know, sell them over the course of time.
It's gonna trickle.
When you add them up over time, how much money you end up getting consistently, day over day, week over week, you know, month over month, it'll far trump the $100 or that $20 return on your investment that you get with the, you know, Premier card, and you just make more and more and more and more money.
That's how I got started vending. I took one of my college checks, you know, the FAFSA. I took a check. I bought one of my friends at the time's collection because he was quitting. I spent probably like $700 on it. Sold the cards over time, and just like every day, I was generating like between $40 to $50 every day, just eating, and I loved it. I loved it. But after like about 4 to 5 months, you know, it started to run out. I wasn't smart enough at the time to re-up, so I was just spending the money. I was just bullshitting the money, and I learned my lesson. After that. You know what I mean?
Never spend the seed money. Never spend the seed money. You gotta take.
Take a little on the side, you know.
So there you go. That's another one for everybody out there. Like the beginners, if you turn around and you get that money, so that $100 card, you get that $20 re-up. Don't turn around and sell that. You get rid of that whole $20. Go flip the whole 120 again.
Yep.
Then that 120 is gonna get you maybe 150, 160.
Just keep doing it.
Keep flipping it. You know, keep investing, reinvesting. Even if you start with a penny, there's people out there that start, you know, the paperclip trades.
Oh,
Start with like nothing to get to everything. I think I did that in like 2014. I think it came out with like a $120 card or something around that range.
Really?
Yeah, I can't remember what the card was at the time, but we hit up a YCS, and You know, me and my boy just wanted to try it.
Someone got a car. I saw a video.
I saw that.
Yeah, she got a car.
I
She want to get a dream house.
business credit,
Mm-hmm.
so I can go swipe and go pay for gas and go pay that down like regular, but it reports to build up my business credit. So you stack up your business credit enough, then you can go ahead and make some crazy moves. Even on a small tip, you get a business credit card and you want to go in as a player, go play, go swipe your business card. You know what I mean? And now that gets used towards your business credit. Then you go play, you go win. You still get the perks off that, but instead of using your personal credit card, you know, you use your business. Now your business, and if most people probably watching this never be like, what the hell is business credit? That's some like super kung fu out here. Like if you don't know, when you get off this video right here,
Better look it up.
go watch another Plus Guys video first. But then when you finish watching the Plus Guys videos, you know, go watch Bemani Lounge videos.
That's a fact.
But then when you finish watching those, go look up business credit. You know what I mean?
Subscribe to both, by the way. Subscribe to both YouTube channels.
Don't like it, love it.
Love it.
You know what I mean?
Drop a comment, ask some questions.
But I mean, look up business credit. You can get way more funding than you can get in your personal credit, but you don't have to go through all the hoops you have to build up your personal credit.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like you get big boy levels of funding like you're a big business by utilizing business credit. You know, so those are things you can do.
If I'm not mistaken, an individual can only go to the bank for one mortgage, but a business can go for multiple mortgages.
You can go for more than one personally, but yeah, there's kind of like a hard cap. Like you can't do it all the time. But yeah, a business can get multiple.
They can just keep going.
Like it's nothing. Like,
Yeah, you can just keep going.
you can get whatever you want. Like it's so much easier.
You're a whole entity when you have a business.
There's less restrictions.
Yeah.
You're higher up on the you know, social hierarchy, how things work in the world. So, you know, like when pandemic hit, I'm already smart enough because I did my homework ahead of time. So I got business funding from the government, you know, when things were popping off. So that's why one of the few stores, you know, gaming stores in the area that has stayed open throughout the pandemic, and probably one of the only ones that are expanding during the period. We just hired 2 employees, you know, just this week. You know, so you got to do your homework. You got to seek knowledge out. So like business credit, that's a mega gem. If you can get to the point where you incorporate and you set your business up, go ahead, get your accountant so they make sure your money's right. You want to track your money, make sure it's right, cash flow, have it coming in, build up business credit. Now you looking pretty nice, you know what I mean? And you can get funding without ever having to go get a loan from a bank to go get a store. You go bust down your business credit, bro. Use that, and you use that to turn on the lights, you know, get your own lights on. You know, it just makes things a lot easier, especially if you're in a place where you come in the urban area, you know, you're downtown, like, you know, down Newark, New York, you know, in the city, stuff like that. You know, stuff ain't easy out there, but man, you need to learn business, bro.
That's true. That's definitely true. I mean, gotta hustle.
Absolutely.
I feel like but hustling is like a thing. Like, I feel like you can't be from Jersey or New York or you know, Philly and not know how to hustle. Like,
yeah, but hustling's only half the equation.
That's true. That's true.
You know, I was raised in the streets of, you know, down Baltimore, down Bmore. You know, same thing. Each of those areas, guys hustle, but they never plug into the knowledge of how things work. When you have that hustle mentality and you know how stuff works, dangerous. I taught this guy, you know, a Puerto Rican gentleman, you know, he's 48, bro. Never did somebody sit him down and talk business to him. You know, this guy, he used to be a drug dealer, you know, and I was able to tell him how it translates to the drug game. Like, you can look at, you know, as a comparable, like, doesn't matter if it's video games or Yu-Gi-Oh, whatever the product is, you know, whatever you really want to do. If you're already doing Yu-Gi-Oh too, that's just an easy in because it's so just basic business, cash in, you know, cash in, cash out. But as soon as I taught him that, it took one night, you know, he called me. Actually, I gotta call him back next week. He was on my phone. I'm sorry, dude, if you watched this video, man. I didn't mean it, man. I was on vacation. But you know, now it's been like 4 months later. You know, a couple months ago, he told me, it's like, man, I'm glad you gave me this advice on business. I went back with my fams. You know, they took me in. I took the game plan you gave me. Now I'm up 10K. That was a few months ago. I'm pretty sure he's about to call me now and tell me he's even farther along that process. You know, because you got to plug that hustle into the knowledge. But people hustle, but they ain't got no knowledge, like the blind leading the blind.
Exactly.
Feel me?
Do you have anything you want to plug in the description?
I mean, I did the plug, you know, nothing but Bemani Lounge.
YouTube channel?
Of course, Bemani Lounge, YouTube, you know. Facebook. You got
a store, you know, URL.
Oh yeah, the storefront, Bemani Lounge, you know, gaming store over here in Hackettstown, New Jersey. I know it's a hike in the middle of nowhere, but it's worth it. Just come out to expect to chill all day. You know, we got video games on tap, you know.
Any online retailers you could go through, buy directly to the store?
Right now, if you want to find us for the video games only, you can go on Macari. Go on Macari app, and we're on there. It's more the video games, but in about a few weeks, we're going to go ahead and add in, you know, Yu-Gi-Oh cards, Pokemon cards. We're not on TCG Player at the moment, but we're going to come back on TCG Player. Discord, we have the Discord. Everything's Bemani Lounge. So just type in and look for Bemani Lounge. You'll probably see it on the first page or second page. Any of our information, just hit us up. Hit up Team Plus Guy. You know what I mean? Because they're a source.
What days are your tournaments on the Discord? Because I know you guys be firing those off.
Yeah, we just started bringing them back now on Wednesdays. Okay. Right now it's Wednesday evenings, roughly about 7 o'clock.
EDO Pro.
Yeah, EDO Pro only. I'm sorry if you play on Dueling Book. We do not facilitate Dueling Book. Right now it's EDO only, EDO Pro only. If you ask about Dueling Book, I'm gonna say the same thing. I'm sorry guys, I ain't got nothing for you. You know, I'll even plug luxury games. They do their thing over there with Dueling Book. I know there's a lot of other places that have been popping up over the last year with the pandemic. Go to those guys. Maybe one day we'll service that, but nah, we only for EDO Pro peoples. It's $10 per tournament. Our prize cards are usually somewhere between $40 to $100. And if you sign into our Pro Team program, you get $5 off of all the events for the month. So it's $5 a month to get into the Pro Team program. Mm-hmm. But then your tournament will be, $5. So for the $10 tournament, you get 50% off. Mm. That's a lot of value. I don't know about you.
If anybody wants to learn about the Pro Team program, who should they contact?
You can hit up Henry Fairchild. He's my point on that. He's the team captain for our team, Team Lionheart. And forget to shout y'all out. They would have slaughtered me if I ain't plugged. But hit up Henry Fairchild. You can call the store directly. I'm usually here most days, but get a hold of Henry. Any of the guys on the team, they'll get you straight, get you put into the program. So if you're a new player, a beginning player, don't really know much about the game and you want to get experience, get seasoned up. If you're a returning player that hasn't played for a long time, it's for you. But also we're going to put in value for just the everyday people, people that are more competitive. That's why now we're doing the discounted price for the tournaments, as long as they're in the program. So you pay $5 per month, and then they get that $5 off for any and all tournaments that we do. So off rip, just if we do one tournament per week, they save $20. So what would have been $40, is about $20. 20-25, something like that. You got something deal. I'm tired, man. I'll be working every day. I'm slaving. I'm sorry, but but yeah, you save a lot, and if you think you're good, you come in here and come get that bag. I dare you to come get that bag. Matter of fact, I'm gonna play you in that tournament so you don't get that bag.
I'm always hearing about how these people are gonna come in there and take over, man.
Oh boy, I think I remember some Plus guys that said that a while back, man.
Bill. I mean, there was a chart. There was a chart made.
Hey, we don't talk about that. We don't talk about that. But
particular name was on that chart. Won a lot,
But Team Plus guy came in here. They said some stuff. They made a little noise. They barked. They barked a little bit. I'll give them that.
Some things over. Walked out.
That's all right, man. You secured your bag, right?
Yeah, that's it.
You secured the bag. Guys, they always secure the bag. You know what I'm saying? They always secure the bag.
I mean.
But if you want to know knowledge on business in general, our YouTube channel, we've kind of been only periodically putting things out as, I'm transitioning, my guys are transitioning, we're figuring all that out. I know starting next month, I'm going to start putting out a series called The Business of Yu-Gi-Oh. So basically all this stuff, there's a lot of things that you want to need, we went over it now, and I'm going to go way in depth about details about how to incorporate, the things that you should be looking at, just general business terms like, assets and liabilities, how to set up business structures, how to make money, probably how to decide, if you want to employ people, how does that work, stuff like that. So keep an eye out. Sometime in the next month or so, I'm gonna start that series out, and I hope a lot of people gravitate to it because I know a lot of people want to make money, doing the stuff that we do, and others in the community do, but they don't have the knowledge. And knowledge is key.
Well, I get it. Before we close out, coming soon is a Patreon for Plus Guys Gaming, so listen out for that. In the description, I'll plug our TCG player. Check that out. Femmy, it's been a pleasure.
Likewise, sir. Always.
Next time. All right, guys. Plus Guys Gaming Podcast. We're out.